friends, I'm Akash, and this is your News of the Week for the week of July 25th to July 31st, 2021. Let's take a look at the news that we have for you this week. And so we start with our first headline. It's that COVID-19 is surging back in the United States through the power of the Delta variant. Our next story is the fact that Simone Biles has decided to withdraw from the all-around gymnastics team and individual events, vault, and uneven bars tournaments. Now, the next story that we have for you also relates to the Olympics, and it's the fact that there's been a heartwarming moment at the 200 meters women's breaststroke. We'll watch for a moment of winning and a record being set, and just overall good times right after. Trust me, you'll love it. Now, the next topic that we have for you this week is the fact that the ISS temporarily lost control due to a misfire in the engine thrusters of a docked module. And of course, the final story that we have for you this week is the Hong Kong national security law is now responsible for the very first conviction of one under this national security law, 9 years in prison. Find out more about how this law came to be and what the convictions are for this man. And so we begin the news of the week. Let's take a look at each of these stories in further detail. And we begin with the fact that COVID-19 is surging back to America, now with the power of the Delta variant. So COVID-19 is coming back to America, and it's pretty much just swept the whole country at this point, with cases having been rising and rising for quite a while now. And even just yesterday, the tallies were at a tall recent time high of 120,000 cases per day. Plus, hospitalizations have nearly doubled in the past month, from 12,000 to 25,000. And it's assumed that cases and hospitalizations and sooner or later deaths will soon rise up in the coming weeks. So what can we do about this? Well, for a start, of course, the main answer is if you don't have COVID-19, then, well, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated as soon as you can, if you can. Now, President Biden is now having a hard time trying to convince people to wear a mask and to get immunized with the vaccines, even though they're readily available literally everywhere right now, all throughout the country. But yet, people are reluctant to go ahead and get immunized with the vaccines. So this is getting quite dangerous. As the CDC Director Rochelle Walensky has said, this is becoming a pandemic for the unvaccinated. And yep, it truly is now, as pretty much most of these cases are indeed from unvaccinated folks. Now, the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the US CDC, has updated their COVID-19 guidance to suggest and encourage that if you live in areas of higher risk to COVID-19, then you should wear a mask indoors as well. Now, the thing is, this is going to be quite a cause of contention, as although this has caused many states to reintroduce new mask mandates, which encourage citizens to wear masks indoors as well, the thing is, even with this, there still are some states where the mask mandate debate has been reinvigorated, as some states are choosing to not implement these mask mandates, and in some cases even ban other governmental authorities down the line from even considering the possibility of a mask mandate in this standard. And yes, that does include public health authorities in certain states. So this is getting quite bad, as you may already know. And so with this pandemic of the unvaccinated surging back again here in America, I really hope it's time that people start to take the vaccine, and hopefully that even though the fact that the United States is only half vaccinated, half of the American populace has actually been fully vaccinated, and the other half, well, it's going to take a while eventually for it to be completely full, or rather, in the worst scenario, herd immunity. But I really hope that this COVID-19 will go away soon, because the only way to do that is to get people to follow all of the orders and the mandates, and to actually do things that are beneficial to not only their health, but everyone's health, for the better of humanity. And I think that's what should be happening. Now, the next one I want to talk about here on this News of the Week is actually relating to the Olympics. So, she won 4 gold medals in Rio 2016 Olympics. Now, in 2021, Simone Biles is here to compete at the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Now, the world was very much waiting for Simone Biles to compete at the all-around gymnastics team event. And the thing is, at this event, Simone Biles decided to withdraw from the tournament at the last moment. Now, the thing is, she cited mental fitness as the reason why she decided to withdraw. And after further consultation, she also decided to withdraw from the vault, the uneven bars, and also the individual all-around gymnastics tournament. Now, again, the reason why is the mental fitness. And so here's something that a lot of people don't really know about gymnastics. It's that gymnastics is a lot more than just preparing your body. You have to prepare your mind. Because the only way that gymnastics actually works well is the fact that, well, both your body and your mind have to work together to understand the situation and actually perform the movements, to execute the jumps and the flips and the tricks. So what's happening here is that Simone Biles is suffering from a phenomenon that goes by the name of the twisties. It's a variant of the yips, and the yips is pretty much when an athlete just suddenly and inexplicably loses most of his athletic ability for a while. It is very, very annoying, and it can last for a little while, or it could last for quite a long time. So this version of the yips for gymnastics goes by the name the twisties. And so the twisties is when a gymnast inexplicably loses the ability to control your body when you're doing aerial tricks in midair. So this isn't good, because suddenly spatial disorientation and you're not exactly sure where you are. And this may even lead to injuries if it's not treated with care. So this phenomenon of the twisties is the reason why Simone Biles has decided to withdraw from these tournaments. She still can compete in a couple others, but to be honest, right now as it is, the twisties are a very dangerous thing, as it causes that disorientation in your mind right after you've taken off in the air doing a trick, and you're suddenly not aware of what exactly is going on. Where are you in your trick? And so this is a major issue for gymnasts like Simone Biles. And so this is a very important thing to note, that gymnastics isn't just about the body, it's about the mind as well. And this is why Simone Biles has decided to withdraw. Now, social media rallied in understanding and support of Simone Biles, and the Olympics stated that her spirit embodies the Olympics. So I also commend Simone Biles on this, as the mental fitness is more important than winning any gold medal. In the end, For the all-around gymnastics team event, Russia took first place and the USA placed second. And now we'll move on to another story relating to the Olympics. This one is a little more heartwarming as well, and this happened during the 200 meters women's breaststroke swimming event. Now, at this moment, it was a very touching and inspiring moment when the South African swimmer Tatiana Schoenmaker officially won the gold, making South Africa's very first Tokyo 2020 medal. And she also broke a whole world record in the process, 2 minutes 18:95, which is, she has become the first swimmer to beat the record of 2 minutes and 19 seconds, which was achieved all the way back in 2013. And now she's the first person to go under that 2 minute 19 mark and break the world record. Now, the most heartwarming part of this comes right after she won. And so, right then and there, the silver and bronze winning Americans came over and gave Tatiana a big hug and congratulated her for winning the 200 meters women's breaststroke and, of course, taking a world record and setting it in the process. This is a very heartwarming moment which proves that the Olympics and that sport is for all of us. It represents the unity of us all, because even though we may represent different countries, in the end, we all are one, humanity. And the Olympics is a perfect way to symbolize that. That's why we hold the Olympics. Stronger, higher, faster. Or it's faster, higher, stronger. That's the motto of the Olympics. And truly, that is what it embodies. Truly, the athletic spirit has been very much shown here. And it's these heartwarming moments that you've got to see. It's great. I really love it. Now, the next topic I want to talk about actually relates up there in space, because the International Space Station, on July 29th, the Russian module Nauka, which means science in Russian, officially docked with the International Space Station. And all was great, as this is the first major addition to the Russian ISS segment in years, in over 20 years. And all was fine until the Nauka engine thrusters abruptly started to fire back up again because of a software glitch. And of course, this ended up resulting in the whole ISS tilted to 45 degrees like this. At this point, literally anything can possibly happen. But the good thing is, by that time, Nauka had already ran out of fuel, so it didn't take long for the ground controllers and the crew to eventually return the ISS back to its normal altitude and leveling in just an hour. So, although it seems very unusual and also a very precarious situation, NASA said that the astronauts weren't exactly in any major positions of danger. So things were more or less fine, and the good thing is the ISS is perfectly fine now. Nauka has been installed and everything is working as intended. So as a result of this, several launches have been postponed for a little while in order to get things as to where they are. So for example, the Boeing Starliner launch was postponed for a little while, and I believe another Blue Origin launch of sorts, and SpaceX. They've been postponed for just a while as a result of this slight malfunction, but things are going back to normal, and we can expect to see some launches coming up in the couple weeks. Or not a couple weeks, but you got the point. Now, the next and final story that we have for you this week relates to a story that we've seen from a year and a month ago, June 30th, 2020. And of course, China officially signed out a very controversial law, Hong Kong National Security Law, which pretty much prohibited any form of political dissidency in the area, which some people took to mean a obstruction of freedom of speech, as this means that literally protesting out in the streets, even if it's entirely peaceful, you could be arrested and sent to many years in prison for that. That is what this national security law pretty much implemented into Hong Kong. And so, now exactly a year and a month later, on July 30th, 2021, China has officially convicted someone for the first time under this new law. And this man, I believe his name is Tong Yin-kit, this man has been sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for unfurling a banner with the pro-democracy slogan, Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times. So literally just unfurling a banner with that is enough to send someone to prison for 6.5 years. And it's not just that either. A little more than that, in fact, because he's also been sentenced to 8 years for ramming a motorcycle into a group of policemen, which injured 3. I don't think that's okay, but surely unfurling a banner with a pro-democracy sign ends up going for 6.5 years in prison is quite ridiculous. But also, ramming a motorcycle into a group of policemen is just as ridiculous as well. So the idea is that out of these 8 other years, since they weren't actually done under the national security law, the other 6.5 was, 2.5 years of these 8 years are actually going to be running in conjunction with the 6.5. This means that overall, Tong Yin-kit gets 9 years in prison, and perhaps an additional 5.5 later. So that is what's going on with the national security law in Hong Kong. That is all of your news of the week for the week of July 25th to July 31st, 2021. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Akasha Cody, and I'll see you soon in another news of the week. Goodbye.